Have you ever felt really disrespected by someone? Like they said or did something that just made you feel angry, hurt, or like you wanted to lash out at them? Handling disrespect in the right way is one of the biggest tests of our character. It's easy to react emotionally and make the situation worse. But what if I told you there's a better way? A way to stay calm, maintain your dignity, and even grow stronger from disrespect. I'm talking about the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. The Stoics were experts at keeping their cool and being the bigger person, no matter how they were treated. In this video, we'll explore 10 powerful Stoic principles to help you handle disrespect like a pro. But this isn't just a passive viewing experience. I want you to actively participate by reflecting on the lessons and sharing your own experiences in the comments. Let's make this a journey of true self-improvement together. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and bell notification. You don't want to miss out on life-changing wisdom that can make you mentally tougher than ever before. All right, let's dive into the first Stoic lesson on handling disrespect with grace. This one is game-changing. Lesson 1. Don't take disrespect personally. Ever heard the saying, "It's not about you"? Well, the first big Stoic lesson for dealing with disrespect is that someone being rude or disrespectful towards you isn't actually about you at all. The Stoics understood that when people act in a disrespectful way, it has nothing to do with your value as a person. As Marcus Aurelius said, when another blames you or hates you, or those who think they can take advantage of you, find out the true nature of their unfortunate behavior. Their disrespect is a reflection of their own flaws, insecurities, and poor character, not yours. Maybe they're jealous. Maybe they're miserable in their own life. Or maybe they just have no class. But it's their problem, not something that diminishes your worth. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're presenting an idea at work and one coworker rudely interrupts you and shuts you down in front of everyone. Pretty disrespectful, right? But instead of taking it personally and getting all bent out of shape, you can tell yourself, wow, that guy must be dealing with some serious insecurity issues to act like that. His disrespect is coming from his own negativity, not anything about me. When you don't take disrespect personally, you avoid getting drawn into unnecessary anger, drama, or retaliation. You can stay poised and say, their behavior says more about them than me. So think back to a time when someone disrespected you. Did you take it too personally in that moment? How might viewing it through a Stoic lens have changed your reaction? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Freeing ourselves from taking disrespect personally is such a powerful first step. Lesson 2. You can only control yourself, not others. This next Stoic lesson is a hard truth to accept, but it's extremely liberating once you do. And it is this: you cannot control how other people act or what they say, only how you respond. The Stoics placed huge importance on separating what is within our control from what isn't. As Epictetus said, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. When someone disrespects you, their rude behavior is 100% outside of your control. But how you think about it and react to it, that's fully up to you and no one else. Think about it. You can't make someone be polite if they don't want to be. You can't force them to respect you. The only thing you get to control is you. This mindset is incredibly freeing. It lets you stop wasting energy worrying about what you can't influence and focus solely on how you'll choose to respond. For example, let's say you're at a family gathering and your obnoxious uncle makes an insulting comment about your career dreams. You can't control his big mouth, but you can control your reaction. You could get mad and create a scene only to regret it later. Or you could calmly de-escalate, walk away, and stay true to your purpose. When you embrace what you can control, your own behavior, you don't have to be a victim. The gift of this Stoic principle is realizing your power. You may not control the situation, but you 100% control your attitude and actions within it. That's hugely empowering. In what areas of your life do you need to practice focusing only on what you can influence? I bet we could all get better at this, right? Lesson 3. View disrespect as a learning opportunity. All right, most of us don't enjoy being disrespected. It's an unpleasant experience. But what if I told you that you could transform those difficult moments into powerful growth opportunities? That's exactly what the Stoics encouraged. The Stoics believed that adversity and challenges, even something as simple as rude behavior from others, could be flipped into a chance to practice virtue and wisdom. As Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." When someone disrespects you, you can choose to view it not as a personal attack, but as a test of your character's strength. It's a chance to rise above pettiness and be the bigger person. For example, let's say you put a lot of effort into planning a party, but when you arrive, your friend rudely complains about some little insignificant detail. Ouch, that stings. But instead of firing back insults, you could ask yourself, how can I respond in a way that shows grace and emotional resilience? Maybe you simply thank them for the feedback and carry on being a welcoming host. By facing disrespect as an opportunity to practice virtues like patience, humility, and courage, you deny the negativity any power over you. Plus, maintaining composure reinforces those positive qualities within yourself. The Stoics believed what matters most is not what happens to us, but how we handle it. Every difficulty holds the potential for growth, if we choose to see it that way. So when is the last time disrespect allowed you to practice being the bigger person? I definitely could get better at turning those moments into growth opportunities. Lesson 4. Respond with kindness and understanding. This next Stoic principle is one of the most powerful for handling disrespect. Meet negativity with positivity. Kill them with kindness. Now, I know what you're thinking. How am I supposed to be kind to someone who's being a straight-up jerk to me? I get it. That's extremely difficult. But hear me out. The Stoics understood that people who mistreat others are simply acting out of their own inner pains, ignorance, or struggles. As Marcus Aurelius put it, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. His point was this: you shouldn't be surprised or offended by poor behavior because many people are deeply unhappy themselves. The more you can have empathy and understanding for their suffering, the less their negativity affects you. Let's imagine your mother-in-law constantly disrespects you, putting you down about your career or parenting. Ouch, that stings. But could it be that her cruel words are coming from her own feelings of insecurity or loneliness? If you can see past just her disrespect and respond with compassion about what she might be going through, you'll disarm her negativity. Kill her with kindness by sympathizing with her struggles respectfully. This Stoic mindset is difficult, but incredibly powerful. It allows you to not take disrespect so personally and escalate conflicts. You can respond to negativity by being the bigger, kinder person. What somebody in your life could benefit from you meeting their disrespect with more compassion and understanding? I know I could put this into practice more often. Lesson 5. Stay calm and composed. One of the core practices of Stoicism is mastering your emotions and staying composed, even in the face of disrespect or mistreatment. As Seneca taught, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. It's so easy to get hijacked by anger, hurt, or defensiveness when someone disrespects you. Your instinct may be to lash out and escalate the situation, but the Stoics would encourage you to pause, breathe deeply, and refuse to be thrown off-center. When you can stay calm and avoid being consumed by negative emotions, you'll be able to respond more rationally and align with your principles, instead of just reacting impulsively. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're at a restaurant and the server is incredibly rude and dismissive toward you. Maybe because of your age, race, or how you're dressed, you can feel the anger bubbling up, ready to put that jerk in their place. But before you act on that heated emotion, you take a deep breath and collect yourself. Maybe you decide to politely address it with the manager in a composed way. Or maybe you choose to not reward the disrespect with any energeic at all and simply leave a smaller tip. The point is, by staying calm in that heated moment, you get to decide your response rather than just having your emotions decide for you. You don't let their toxic behavior turn you into someone you're not. This takes serious self-discipline and mindfulness. But with practice, you can learn to be like a duck on a pond, letting the disrespect roll off your back without ruffling your feathers. Now that's powerful. When was the last time you let yourself get really heated and reactive over someone's disrespect? How might staying calmer have allowed you to respond better? Lesson 6. Focus on living virtuously, not others' opinions. This next Stoic principle for handling disrespect is a game changer, caring less about what others think of you and more about living with excellence according to your values. The Stoics taught that virtue, meaning excellent character traits like courage, justice, self-control, and wisdom, should be our highest priority in life. As Epictetus said, "If you want to make progress, put up with being disliked." See, the Stoics realize that no matter how virtuous and good you are, there will always be people who criticize you or try to disrespect you. You simply can't control their opinions or behavior, but what you can control is your own commitment to being a person of upright character and living according to your deepest principles and virtues. If you stay focused on that, the disrespect of others becomes far less significant. For example, let's say you're an ethical vegan who gets constantly mocked by friends and family for your lifestyle. It can feel disrespectful and hurtful. But if you stay devoted to living with integrity according to your virtues of compassion and health, their ignorant opinions don't really matter. By prioritizing your own values over others' perceptions, you maintain your sense of self-respect from the inside. The disrespect may still sting, but it doesn't shake your identity. The Stoics would remind you that a person of true wisdom and virtue doesn't need the approval or respect from anyone but themselves. Pretty empowering mindset, right? In what areas of your life do you need to care less about disrespectful opinions from others and more about just staying true to your principles? I'll go first. Lesson 7. Consider the source and context. All right, this next Stoic lesson is about taking a step back and thinking critically when someone disrespects you. The idea is to consider the source of who is disrespecting you, as well as the full context surrounding it. You see, the Stoics knew that often disrespect arises because of the other person's own issues, trauma, or distorted mindset. As Epictetus said, it's not their behavior that insults us, but our judgment of their behavior. It's easy to get instantly triggered when someone is rude or demeaning towards you, but if you can pause and reflect on where they may be coming from, it can defuse a lot of the sting. For example, let's say you have an old high school friend who always low-key disrespects your career and lifestyle choices with little digs. That hurts, right? But then you remember they've been stuck in the same deadbeat job in town for 15 years out of pure fear. Suddenly, their disrespect feels more like jealousy or projecting their own insecurities. Or let's say a coworker blatantly disrespects you in an important meeting, undermining you in front of the whole team. Ouch. But then you find out their new manager has been harshly critiquing their work, putting a ton of stress on them. Maybe their disrespect was simply misplaced frustration. By taking a moment to consider the source of who is disrespecting you and being aware of unseen context, you can view it through a more rational lens. Their negativity likely has very little to do with you. This prevents you from taking disrespect as a personal attack and escalating into unnecessary conflict. Stoic self-awareness allows you to not take things so personally. When was the last time you got disrespected, but then the other person's motivations or context became clearer? How did it change your perspective? I'm certainly guilty of not always considering this enough. Lesson 8. Don't feed into anger or resentment. This next Stoic principle for dealing with disrespect is absolutely vital. Do not feed into lingering anger, bitterness, or resentment. Let that stuff go. The Stoics taught that holding onto negative emotions like rage or resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person gets hurt. It ends up harming you more than anyone else. As Seneca said, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. Beg anger to survive, and it will become the habit of a lifetime. When someone disrespects you, it's natural to feel mad, hurt, or angry in that immediate moment. But the goal of Stoicism is to feel that emotion, then consciously release it before it takes root. Think of how much energy people waste by staying stuck in resentment over disrespect from the past. They keep reliving the offense, stewing in their bitterness, sometimes for years or decades. It's toxic and pointless. Instead, the Stoics would encourage you to process the disrespect through logic and reason. Feel the anger at first if you must, then take a step back and disconnect your sense of self from the negativity. Don't let their poison become yours. For example, let's say an in-law has deeply disrespected you for years with constant put-downs or passive aggression. You could choose to keep harboring all that resentment, or you could choose to not let it define you anymore. Express your boundaries but release the negative energy. By refusing to feed the anger or resentment beast, you avoid being controlled by someone else's disrespect. You take back your power to feel peace. What's an instance in your life where you allowed resentment over past disrespect to consume too much energy and headspace? How could you apply this Stoic lesson of letting go? Lesson 9. Practice Stoic mindfulness. One of the most powerful tools the Stoics cultivated for handling disrespect skillfully was the practice of mindfulness. By staying present and conscious, you prevent disrespect from hijacking your emotions. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Mindfulness means consciously observing your thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations as they arise without judging them. It creates a space between the offense and your reaction to it. For example, let's say you're having a conversation with someone and they casually make a rude, dismissive comment about you. In that moment, you'd notice the knee-jerk bodily reactions, tension, heat, anger flaring up. You'd notice the judgmental thoughts wanting to fire back. But with mindfulness, instead of impulsively lashing out, you can simply witness those reactions arise within you and then let them pass without acting on them. You regain conscious control over how you'll respond. The Stoics knew that mindfully separating ourselves from our passing thoughts and emotions around disrespect is incredibly powerful. It prevents us from getting hooked and acting out of negativity. From this mindful space, you can then respond to disrespect more rationally and aligned with your values, with gentleness, humor, or by setting boundaries, or perhaps not respond at all, as the situation merits. Mindfulness puts you back in the driver's seat rather than having disrespect trigger you into reactions you later regret. It's the pause that creates your space to choose wisdom. When was the last time you acted impulsively out of anger or hurt from disrespect? How might practicing mindfulness in that moment have allowed you to respond better? Lesson 10. Disrespect cannot harm your true character. For our final Stoic lesson, I want to leave you with this empowering perspective. No matter how much disrespect comes your way, it can never harm your true character without your consent. The Stoics believed that the core of who you are, your wisdom, integrity, and upright judgment, ultimately cannot be corrupted or degraded by external circumstances like disrespect unless you allow it. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "What is outside my mind means nothing to it." Absorb that lesson and your murmuring will cease. See, when someone disrespects you, they can't directly take away your firm commitment to virtue. They can't strip away your self-respect. They can't forcibly make you compromise your principles. Only you have the power over your mind and your intentional choices. Their disrespect is utterly powerless against your unconquerable character if you refuse to be controlled by it. For example, let's say your boss constantly belittles you and your work in front of others. While their behavior is objectively disrespectful, it doesn't have to corrode your self-esteem unless you internalize their perceptions over your own reality. If you stay devoted to responding with professionalism and continuing to operate with excellence according to your values, then their disrespect holds no true weight. The more you embed this realization, that outside disrespect cannot rob you of your character, the more unshakable your poise and peace of mind becomes. Their toxicity has no venomous effect. This is the highest form of dignity in the face of disrespect that Stoicism teaches. My friends, you alone are the custodian of your character. Don't ever surrender that power. How might remembering this idea, that disrespect is powerless against your true character, allow you to walk through future offenses with more unflappable presence? Let's discuss. Conclusion. All right, friends. We've covered some game-changing Stoic wisdom for dealing with disrespect. These ancient philosophers were masters at keeping their cool and rising above negativity from others. The big idea is to avoid taking disrespect as a direct attack on your character or worth. More often than not, someone's rude behavior stems from their own insecurities, pains, or skewed worldview. It's not really about you. The Stoics also reminded us that the only thing we control is our response, not other people's actions. By practicing mindfulness, we can catch ourselves before lashing out reactively. We can choose to kill them with kindness and empathy instead of escalating conflicts. While disrespect stings, the Stoics saw it as an opportunity to practice virtues like patience, composure, and courage, to prioritize living by our deepest principles over worrying about other people's disrespectful opinions of us. Ultimately, they realized that disrespect from others is utterly powerless against our unshakable, virtuous character unless we allow it to be. We alone are the guardians of our dignity, wisdom, and integrity. So next time you face disrespect, I challenge you to handle it like a Stoic warrior. Don't take the bait and act on impulse. Pause, reflect through that rational lens, and respond with the poise of someone truly unflappable. It takes work embodying this mindset. But just imagine how liberating it would be to not have your inner peace rocked by every rude comment or dismissive action that comes your way. That's the power of Stoicism. Now I want to hear from you. Which of the Stoic strategies for handling disrespect do you most need to apply in your life? Where can you practice rising above negativity with more wisdom? Share your personal experiences and reflections in the comments. Let's make this an interactive growth journey together. And if you found value in this guide, show your gratitude by liking the video and subscribing so you never miss more life-transforming philosophical insights. You've got this, warriors. Stay stoic, stay strong,